Guys, what we're going to do today is we're going to install the Cruise Bluetooth integration for a 08 Town & Country. It already has the Uconnect radio in here, or actually it was pre Uconnect, but it didn't come with the phone module, so we're going to go ahead and install it into the factory radio. What I do have is a screw gun for screw bits, impact driver, which you probably won't use, just normal screwdrivers, a couple door panel plug removers, picks. We should be ready to go. So give me a second, we'll go on inside and we'll figure this out. Guys, so what we have is we're inside now. So it looks like it was a Uconnect radio, but it's it's a factory radio. So you pop these off, you have to go to the interior side because there's a little hinge on the flap and the screws are up in here. There we go. Here I'm going to grab a couple screwdrivers here. So what I'm going to do is take off these top two screws here because I got to remove the benzo around the radio. And then you can see I actually should be able to pop this up here, which actually will give me access to these two screws. Now I got to take the rest of the benzo off. So we're going to pop the screws off on each side here so we can pull them out here, because there's actually a couple screws right under this piece, and then the whole thing should move forward. So we'll be back in a second. So there's 3 of these on each side. So all you got to really do is put this in reverse and just back off a little bit. Don't push don't push inward, because then the screw won't be able to back off. If you try to just hold it there, you can see it's never going to screw. But if I let it pull a little bit, it starts unscrewing. So I can just pop these with my hand, and I take a plug remover, pull it out, and as you can see, what happens is the screw goes down the center and it spreads these wide. So basically all we've done was take the tension off of them, because it don't take a lot of pressure here. So anyways, do this one here, and it's on both sides, same spots. So just loosen it up now. So you can also just take a little screwdriver and pop the screw out, but I try not to do it too much. So I'm going to take these 2 screws out here before we can get the benzo to come off. And you can actually use a nut driver. I prefer the nut driver most of the time, but I already had the screw inside here. So pull this forward here so we don't break it. There we go. So basically these just have a couple clips here, and so this screw's already actually broke right here. So we got this one here, and basically you've seen us actually not pull this very hard. This was a factory radio that actually did go bad back in 2009, and it was at the dealer to actually for warranty work. So they're probably the ones who broke it, since this vehicle hasn't been anywhere else. This is another nice thing about this feature here. You can actually pull this lever and this whole thing backs up. So actually that gives us a lot more room here. So basically it looks like the dealer broke the benzo originally.
That was the wrong screw.
Oh, yeah, you don't want the medial screw, you want the lateral screw. I apologize. So I don't think they broke it, actually it's just missing the screw.
I'm gonna put the other one back in.
I will.
Mom's calling.
We're going to put this one back in here. So basically there was no broken tab, it was actually a missing screw. Looks like it's a different size than that. So let's see here. I don't think. And I didn't bring the right nut driver. So we'll do a screwdriver. Make sure I put the right pressure on it. There we go. Okay, so now we got to take out the 4 screws here. Okay, so we should be able to just work this out. Okay, here we go. And now, open up the adapter. So what we get here is this wiring harness here. This is for our model. They actually do make it for other models, so it's kind of nice. Let's see what else we got here. We got a mic we're going to have to run, so we'll run that up in here somewhere, maybe up into the middle. Depends what we want to do. Let's see. I don't think this piece of paper, no, this piece of paper does not go with this. Let's put this out here in my cart. And pretty much we just got to put the brackets into it. So we should be able to just plug this here. Turn this around and plug it here. Okay, there it goes. Just fell the clip. So then we have these modules here, but what we cannot forget is we actually need to make sure we hook this wire up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause for a second. I'm going to run the wire around through the A-pillar from the headliner down, see if I can get it in here. Then we'll be back in a few minutes, and I'll see if I can find some double-sided tape to actually stick this back up in here so it stays out of our way. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay guys, so we ended up doing to run the wire. We just put this up center here, ran it back up in here. I pulled this off with the Torx bit actually to tuck it in and come behind the A-pillar. And then over on the side, I actually pulled this bottom panel off here and this panel off the side. So this one you just pop off first, and then this one has a screw hole here on the side and then 2 on the bottom. So we'll go ahead and you watch while we take and do it. But basically I went in right about here, ran it through up in here, came up between here, came up, plugged the mic into the back of the junction for that. So we'll go ahead and pop this in place so you can see what we're doing. So let me line this up a little better here. Okay, so first thing I do is put the little Torx screw on here on the side, because I don't want to forget that. Remember to pull the side panel off first. Tighten it up just a hair. Make sure my wire's in the right spot. Grab the side panel here, right place. Tuck it in behind the molding here. Boom. Okay, now we just take the screws here. There's 2 screws on the bottom that we actually had to put back on here. And they're torque as well. And then one over on this side. Okay, so that's all done. So the next thing here, put the screws back in for the radio. So one thing I will tell you is we had about, what, 10-15 minutes putting this in? Had a phone call in the middle, so it's hard to really tell. But yeah, so wasn't too bad. It's pretty much a plug-play system. Just gotta make sure it works with the radio. Now I was told that would have worked with the Uconnect, but as you can see it says it's not connected to the Uconnect, so we have to figure out how it works. We did take a couple phone calls from it, but we will need to make sure that it's properly placed. So we were missing a screw here. We'll make sure we go get one before we're done. Looks like we've got the hazard on. That's nice and tight. Grab 2 top screws. Bottom one down here. Okay, so I found another screw in my little box there. Keep an extra one laying around just in case. Make sure that it's going to over tighten them and keep the rattles from coming. Pop that down. 2 more screws for up in here. Okay, tighten them up. Here. Pop our hinge plugs back in. Okay, so the only thing we got left now is to pop this back into place. That floor mat's hitting. Probably, that's what I feel. Now, actually, where I got this out, one of these always seems to want to pop out here. Looks like it's all right, though. Of course, it pops out when you don't want it to. Not when you got it apart here. Okay, so same thing with these here. Got 1, 2, 3 of the plugs and 3 of the things, screws. So we just put the plug in, Well, we never have a flat tire on this vehicle, but what I always find is interesting is right there is where you get to the flat tire, the spare tire, which just tells me that I'd probably forget about it when it was time to use the tire, the spare. So hopefully it's a good reminder in case we ever need it. Okay, so there we go. So what we did here, guys, is you ready? We're done down here. We can pop this back into place. There we go. Okay, so seems to work. The button here does not work like it said it does. You got your phone, Jade?
Yeah.
Put all the tools back outside here in the cart. Okay guys, so to hook this up, actually as soon as we turn the power on, it started talking to us, some foreign accent of course, but pretty much this we hooked to an iPhone. It does say on iPhones you get certain delays that you have to shut off a feature in here. You may have to, but so you just hit Bluetooth, and when we went to other devices, it came on as said Beeline, but it said something different at first. We just hit it and it came on, paired it. It said enter a code. The code here it gave us before was 0000. But as you can see now, so if I go with the mic,
yeah.
Okay, guys. So listen, everything went in nice and smooth. Everything worked really good when we did our test fit, and then what ended up happening was we get it all back together, and what happened was nobody could hear us, but it worked fine before. So we tracked it down, tried to figure it out, pulled this all back apart. Fortunately, we didn't have to pull this apart, which only took a couple minutes because you had the 2 screws here, the 2 here, the 2 here, the panel plugs, and we even actually put the boxes up in here underneath this. There's enough room to mount the boxes here. If they rattle, I might put some double-sided tape on them, but nobody could hear us. What we ended up finding out was up in here, I had to push the wire back in. I must have pulled the mic from here out the back here, and actually so nobody could hear us. Anyway, so it sounds good right now. We'll put another review on it a little bit later of how we like it, but so far I know you can answer the phone from using the radio control button here, so pretty cool. But I was told when I bought it I could use these buttons up here. So anyways, more to come later, but thank you. Share, like, review, everything. Just be positive, you know. So, hey, appreciate it. Dr. Rick signing off.